Think of this as a retrospective on everything that took place. So we discussed the question, what was the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Sunday that was in week 6 of the NFL season? A lot of frustration, a lot of anger and rage. So now to kick off, right? The good would be Trevon Diggs. This guy, everyone knows, don't throw the ball near Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs of the Dallas Cowboys, who had another interception, pick 6, and that helped the Cowboys squeeze past the Patriots. Now, it should be noted, the next time the Patriots got the ball, Trevon Diggs was burned for a 75-yard touchdown pass play from the New England Patriots' Mac Jones. So Trevon Diggs giveth, Trevon Diggs taketh away. The highlight of this was Jerry Jones kissing everyone. Happy owner, happy life. Keep in mind that this is another example of how far the Dallas Cowboys have fallen. That they needed an overtime win against a losing Patriot team with a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones, and this, you'd think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Dallas Cowboys. That shows you how bad the Cowboys have been. Another example here, right? And keep in mind, everyone's going gaga for that Dallas defense. Mac Jones, he's a rookie, had a 118 passer rating against that Cowboy defense. So let's slow your roll on the Cowboys are back. The Cowboys are great. Yeah, okay. And hoppity hop, well, hazard a guess that would be Dak Prescott, who's going to go and have the dreaded MRI. We'll see if he can carry forward or not. That'll be the big news of the day later on, and Jerry will have his regular call-in radio show there in Dallas, and we'll say something goofy and wild and all that. All right, now, moving on from that, the Rams. They're also on the good category here, the good category of the ledger. The Rams with a business-like rout of the New York Giants, 38-11. As that's the first time that final score has ever happened in NFL history. Cooper Kupp, who has become, what is Cooper Kupp? He's a great slot receiver. Like Wes Welker died better than Wes Welker. He's had 9 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Matthew Stafford, who right now is your MVP in the NFL, and he is dominating the National Football League. All he had to do was get rid of that Honolulu Blue and get with a real coach, and abracadabra, hocus pocus. This guy's been insane, and they continue, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, to read out of the same notebook, the same exact notebook. Also in the good category, Joe Burrow. He gets a pat on the back, and attaboy. The Bengals are 4-2, and they look to be a legitimate playoff contender in the AFC. As Joe Burrow matriculating the ball down the field, they took advantage of a cupcake, the Lions. You don't get a lot of credit for beating the Lions, but when you're the Bengals and you've often lost games like that, you do get a little bit. Now, a number of you knuckleheads filling in my inbox, what about the Arizona Cardinals? What about the Cardinals? They're 6-0. What about the Cardinals? What about Kyler Murray? Shut up. Shut up. You need to read the fine print. So the Cardinals beat Cleveland, and the headline on the NFL Films video, if you were to, they used to make these highlight sizzle reels for teams each year. The headline on Arizona's season is Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms. That is the Cardinals in a nutshell. Trailing late third quarter against Jacksonville, 19-10. Should have lost to Minnesota. Kicker misses a gimme field goal, hooks it. Bad job by the Vikings. And don't play all that well against the 49ers, get the win in that game. Play a Cleveland team, again, Lucky Charms, both tackles out for the Browns. Nick Chubb, the star running back, who really is the Browns offense. Let's be honest, it's not Baker Mayfield. It's Nick Chubb. Chubba-lub-lub. And then you got Mayfield, who's, he's the secondary guy, and he has a dislocated shoulder. During the game, if you saw the Cardinals-Browns game, Kareem Hunt leaving the game in a golf cart. And so that's the Cardinals in a nutshell. They're in the right place at the right time. They're not that good. I don't think anybody's really that impressed with the Cardinals, but they're 6-0. And so dumb people, the uneducated fan, thinks they're better than they are. The Cleveland team gave up 47 points to the Chargers. the week earlier. And that leads us to the bad category. And the bad category, the Browns defense. What happened? Remember when Myles Garrett, they had a sack party against the Chicago Bears ragtag offensive line, and there were people waxing poetic about how great this Browns defense was, a defense for the ages? Well, Cleveland has failed to keep many teams off the scoreboard this season. The 3 games the Browns have lost, they've allowed 117 points. They're giving up in the losses an average of 39 points per game. Now, in the 3 wins against weak opponents, weak offensive opponents, they've allowed only 11 points per game. So when they play better competition, they give up 39 points a game. When they play the weaker teams, it's 11 points a game. Now, the bad also would have to be that fishy smell coming out of the Dolphins locker room. What the heck happened? You travel all the way to London to lose against Urban Meyer and Jacksonville on a last-second field goal. Miami 1-5, and they are stuck in no man's land, uncharted waters for the Miami Dolphins. Jacksonville had a 20-game losing streak, and that is all over compliments of Miami and Tua Tagovailoa, who was a ball of tears after actually having a statistically good game for the Dolphins. Now, I would put the Steelers in the bad column, even though they won the game. The fact that you had to go to overtime, you're the Pittsburgh effing Steelers, and you got to go to overtime to beat a backup Geno Smith and the B squad of Seattle? And you're at home in a primetime game? What the heck is going on there? It wasn't until overtime when Geno finally stepped up and puked the football away. He had his signature fumble, bug on the rug to hand Pittsburgh the win as the Flying Watt brothers getting it done there as TJ Watt or JT Watt or whatever. This Watt, that Watt, the other Watt getting it done. Now, the Steelers are 3-3, but Ben Roethlisberger is now an equal to Geno Smith. And Geno Smith played about as well as Roethlisberger. How the mighty have fallen. We also saw another shaky start. This will be in the bad category from Justin Fields. The Chicago media continue to prop this guy up, but he's getting his feet wet in the NFL, and it's not going so well as he looks lost. And Green Bay is not a great defensive team, but Justin Fields went out there and was sacked 4 times and just struggled to move the football consistently as the orchestrator of the Chicago Bears on offense. Now, the last thing here is the ugly. And the ugly would be the Lions, who are a ragtag team. They are the worst team, the only team that has yet to win a game in the NFL. Another crushing blow. You get run off the field by the Bengals. And now the attention turning to Jared Goff, who continues to circle the drain in the Motor City, a product of Sean McVay's brilliant coaching. But Sean McVay ain't walking through that door. Jared Goff has failed to throw a touchdown for the last couple of games. On the season, he is averaging 6.3 yards per pass attempt. That is 31st in the NFL. The only quarterback that has qualified that is worse than the quarterback for the Lions is Jacoby Brissett. He's a backup. He's a backup for Miami. So Jared Goff is at the very bottom. He's the 23rd ranked quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, who should be benched in Philly, has a better passer rating. Now, in the same category, Jared Goff is with Ben Roethlisberger, but Roethlisberger has the cachet of the Super Bowls of the past, Pittsburgh Steelers past, when they had good teams, and he was a big part of the good teams. Jared Goff is in danger of being benched. The only reason he hasn't been benched is the backup quarterback is David Blau, who should pronounce his name Blow, the old Purdue quarterback. That would be a lateral move. We saw this guy play a couple years ago because of injury to Matthew Stafford. And Blau started 5 games, lost all 5, and was very shaky in spot duty for the Lions. And then as we continue down the ugly path, how about Kansas City? Ball security. They win, and they win big, 31-13, the game at halftime, very close game, pulled away second half, dominated the second half. But they need to take a page out of Lester Hayes' goodie bag, right? Get something out of that goodie bag there and get some stickum or something. The Chiefs, again, very generous with the football. Andy Reid's team, with many of these gifted by Patrick Mahomes, last 15 quarters of football, the Chiefs have 14 turnovers the last 15 quarters. Kansas City is averaging an NFL high 3.2 points per drive. Keep in mind that no one is even close to that rarefied air in the NFL and all that. And the Chiefs, the points per drive, very impressive. They've had 9 turnovers inside the opposition's 40-yard line. So they've often been asleep and yet still overpowering. Just got to clean it up. Clean it up a little bit, and they will be fine. Easier said than done, as one turnover leads to another turnover, and they just can't hold on to the ball. Hold on to the ball. Possession is 9/10 of victory.